once again join us on our way to part 2 of Glamis Extravaganza 2024. Today it's the Sunday and we're joined by AKR. We're actually in this vintage Land Rover 1970. And look, the pea viners are in this field over here, folks. Look, harvesting peas. It's all going on, mad action here. But yeah, I'm basically on the way here to pick up the P6 Fordson Major and we're heading into Glamis Extravaganza 2024. So let's get into the action. So here we are, folks, Glamis Extravaganza 2024, and we're coming down the main drive to Glamis Castle. Right folks, we've just made it to the show and now I'm about to go on a quest to find AKR. He's parked the Land Rover up in one of these nearby compounds and the weather is just absolutely amazing. We've been blessed here for day 2 of the show. Here comes AKR right now, folks. Check this out, folks, we're down at the Strathmore Estate's vintage vehicle collection here, and check it out, Volvo BM, massive big loading front loader. And yeah, it's a big beast. That's all I can say about it, really. This is all the Strathmore Estate's personal collection right here. This is a 1973 according to this. Look, they've got information about each vehicle. So shout out McLaurin's Coffee Bar there, folks. I just got an amazing coffee once again at the show. Last year I was using the same coffee and it was just brilliant. So if anybody's in the show area, it's recommended. So refreshing, first thing in the morning getting a fresh coffee just to get that wee boost of energy for the show. And I'm now making my way down to the Land Rover. AKR made some purchases from one of the stalls up there. Check it out, folks, we're now chilling behind the AKR's Land Rover here, having a cuppy. And yeah, it's just good vibes at the Glamis Extravaganza, folks. So good just to chill out in here. It's a proper festival of motor vehicles. It's good chilled out vibes, that's all I can say. It's certainly getting, the weather's so good today, it's getting busier and busier by the minute. I can see the steam engines are starting to fire up down at the bottom of this compound. Right folks, I'm now on the back of the P6 Major because we've got the vintage tractor ring parade at 10:45. So a lot of folks over getting their old tractors fired up and warmed up, and yeah, we're away to head round the ring. So let's get into action, folks. Check it out here, folks, we've got the military vehicles which have just been in the ring. Even like there's an army tank and stuff here. We'll go and take a look at that in this episode, folks. But right now I'm on the back of the P6 and we're just waiting. As soon as these military vehicles are out of the ring, we're heading in. So everybody's sitting here in their vintage tractors. Shout out to all the exhibitors here at the show today. If you've brought a vehicle to the show, get in the comments, tell us what you brought. And hopefully I've recorded most machines here by the end of the show. But there's just so much to see, you can never get round to everything. Check it out, folks, a sea of tractors right here. We're in the ring parade right now. 2024 Glamis Extravaganza ring parade, folks. What a turnout of vintage vehicles. So check it out, folks, the ring parade was funny, everybody was mixed up and some people were breaking down. Shout out, I think it was a petrol paraffin Davy Brown, the boy conked it a couple of times, but they've got him going. They're busy getting everybody out of the ring right now, and I'm just chilling at the corner, just waiting on Abdi starting to move. So that's it folks, we're back in the tractor pen. The P6 made it round the ring. Well, it's not broken down anyway for sure. There was a couple of tractors broke down and they got towed, but that's often vintage life folks. These tractors are from like the 60s, 50s, 40s even, and again the petrol paraffin stuff was never often as reliable. Sometimes if it stalls out when it's hot and it's running on paraffin, it's harder to get it going. They often have to try and get back to petrol to get it fired up. But yeah folks, anyway, we're on diesel power today, so you can't go wrong with that. Anyway, let's continue on with this show adventure, day 2. Check it out folks, we're going for the ring parade with AKR and his vintage Land Rover here. Alright AKR,
alright.
We're all ready here folks for the ring parade.
We are.
1970 Land Rover. We've been around in the tractor, now it's time to go in the Land Rover. There has been a wee spitter of rain came on there and we've just been chilling basically at the back of the Land Rover on those seats. But yeah, now it's the, is it lights, good vehicles or whatever you would call it?
Yeah, light good vehicles and Land Rovers.
Yeah, Land Rovers here folks. We're just away to join this queue at the end of the show field. Here we are folks, we're now in the ring with AKR and his Land Rover here, and we're about 5th in the queue here of all the vehicles going around the ring. Amazing folks. Craziest of adventures on the channel once again. I've not been round to look at a lot yet on this video folks, but we will be going around in a wee while. I've literally just been pretty much chilling out. I was on my feet for so long yesterday, it was fine just to have a seat and a rest. Look at this folks, all the light goods, commercial vehicles are in here. And there's some cool lines, when you see them all going around, it's such a variation of light goods vehicles. Look at this folks, we've got the fire brigade in front of us here and they've got the old vintage Land Rover and they've got the blue beacon on. That would have been the fireys back in the day turning up with a thing like that. And it's so cool to see it, it's fully kitted out with all the brass pipes and the full kit. That's us now, we're just about heading out of the ring for the light goods vehicle parade folks. We're all heading out of the ring here. There we are folks, we're now back in our space next to this other vintage Land Rover fire engine. I think last year at Glamis this one went round the ring, but this year they've left it in the compound here. Anyway, we're away to have a little walk around the show folks, so let's get into more action here.
A video of that.
That's the joy of vintage vehicles folks. I think he was saying it was flooded there, so it wouldn't fire away the handle. Look at this old RAF Fordson here folks. This is the kind of thing they used to use at the airfields for towing the planes out and in. Just check it out. It's one of my favourite tractors probably at the show here, and I think it's got high gear for running about at the airfield. I think it pretty much goes about 20 miles an hour, which is impressive for an old Fordson of that era. Look at this folks, you would hardly even know this thing's running, it just silently sits ticking over. Think of the engineering back when these things were in their prime. Used all over the country. Day one we saw these things coming along the road, so it's cool to see them up close. And I just love the character of these old steam engines, folks. All the colours, each bit is painted to the highest order. Yeah, look at this one here, it's got a big generator on the front. Most commonly used for powering like fairgrounds and other such like attractions. Sometimes they would tow the fairgrounds all over the country with things like this. And then once they got there, they would actually power it with a big electrical generator at the front. And you can see it on this one here. It's impressive with all the brass polished up and each bit painted. Impressive looking machines. Check this out, folks. We've got a Lada Niva here, which is it's a Russian truck. Shout out all the Russian viewers of the channel. These were proper, well-made, hardy vehicles. It looks like this one's had a different engine put in, but all these ones in the UK were actually left-hand drive. But they were super good off-road and really well engineered. But they weren't that popular here because obviously they're from Russia. There's no many Ladas in this country. Look at this, folks. This is another thing that we love on this channel, the military vehicles. And there's all different shapes and sizes. Some of them are British, some American. And some of them were repurposed after the war, like this one here. These were often commonly used in the forestry business for pulling wood out of the forests. But you can see it's got the thick armour plating, basically big chunks of steel, big sheets of steel welded together. And then look, we've got the Willis Jeeps round here. Quite popular after the war. They even used these, a lot of estates and stuff often used them. And look at this. It's got the whole radio kit and stuff in the back, and the guns sticking out. White Thunder. Proper big American military truck. But I think the Canadians and stuff, they all use these. Probably in the NATO areas, these would be a common truck back in the day. And then we've got military Land Rovers here as well. Check it out, folks. It's got the gun sticking out the front. A lot of the time these were for going over the battlefield at high speed. You can see the driving position there, you were kind of crammed in. And then the Land Rover at this side. Folks, obviously these were used in the military up until recent times. I'm not even sure. I think there's probably still some of them in service with the military. And then look at this, here's a stretcher for taking the wounded soldiers off the battlefield. And look at this thing, folks. This is the sort of thing you would see the Nazis fleeing about on in Germany and German occupied Europe. These are obviously like a half track, pretty much a tank with a motorbike front end on it. And look at it, you can still see the original German writing on the side. Just think, a Nazi was probably fleeing about on this at one time. And look here as well, I think this is like another German motorbike, World War II time period. And just think, this gun may have been fired in anger at a British soldier back in the day. And then check this out, folks, almost like the motorbike from the film The Great Escape. It's a proper, I think it's like a Harley Davidson. Amazing to see, folks. The stuff back then, everything was proper mechanical. Each device is often there for a reason and a purpose. No much is on those older vehicles for the aesthetics. And then check out this one, kitted out with a big machine gun. I believe it's an M60. And then look at this, the Thompson Tommy gun. One of the first ever automatic machine guns ever invented. And this is one here. I think you also got a round magazine as well as the straight magazine. Folks, yeah, look, he's got another Thompson here. Look at this 30 cal machine gun right here. So cool, folks. It's a fully kitted Willis Jeep. And look at this thing, this is a slightly bigger Jeep. Yeah, it's amazing to see, folks. We're just making our way around. On this is the second day at the show, and I've really not actually made my way around too much. I've pretty much just been chilling out of the Land Rover, catching up with people that I've not seen for ages. And it is cool just to make my way around this. There's a lot more guns on display here as well. Boy's getting his photograph taken there. Shout out if you're watching this video. Look at this thing, Tay. It's a bit of a tank. Once again, I believe this was for taking soldiers and stuff out into the battlefield. And I believe this device here was actually for firing smoke grenades and stuff like that, to make a smoke screen on the battlefield for making manoeuvres. But also, I'm not sure if you could fire maybe like some sort of mortar out of that as well. Look at the driving position, the steering wheel's straight up and down. And then the soldiers would be sitting in the back. And then we've got this cool American half-track unit. Wheels at the front and then the big tracks at the back. And look at the armoured door. This can actually fold up. And then the wee hole, I think, is for shooting out of. But it's also kitted out with the shovels and the picks. And then it's got the shutters on the window for the bullets, so you just look out the wee gap if you're in warfare. And then look at this thing, folks. This is the proper tank here at the corner. And I believe I've seen these quite recently. I'm not sure if they're still in like frontline combat or whatever, but you do still see these kicking about quite regular. Look at this, folks. Peugeot 205s here. Classic cars nowadays. They used to be so common, but they're getting more few and far between. Look at this, a 1.9 GTI. It was one of my favourite cars when I was young and I always wanted one. But like I say, nowadays they're really rare and it's cool to see them here at the show. Everybody's actually packing up. We've hardly managed to walk around. We've been chilling out, but speaking to so many people we knew and catching up with people. Today's video has just been a bit of a jumble. Wherever I've been walking, I've just recorded little bits and pieces. So we're now having a final walk around these trade stands and stuff, having a rake about. Check this out, folks. Everybody's lined up to go out the gate and I'm going to record them as I go past. I just heard the stunt team blowing the boy up, and that's what they did yesterday. And it was a loud bang. You can see the smoke rising from the ring. Look at this. This is a good time to see these cars because they're all lined up waiting to go out the gate. So we can just walk along and hey, look at this Mark II Capri right here. Yeah, it's just cool, folks. We're getting a sneak peek at these cars as they leave. This is our last chance to see them at the show, and I've not really made my way around enough of these stands today, but it is what it is. These videos are always just natural. I'm looking at whatever I'm looking at. Just hear the noise off that thing. Triumph TR8 V8. Look at this, folks. All these cars. Shout out if you see your car on the video, get in the comments. Which car or vehicle did you bring to the show? MGs, Jaguars, Alfa Romeos, Golf. It's all here, folks. It's all kicking off. Here we go, folks. Look at the big line of cars. It's just incredible. Like, if you go early or if you go at this time, you end up just sitting in a queue of traffic. You're often better just chilling out, watching the world go by, and you let all this traffic away and then you can get out of the field super easy. Look at the old Volvo. This is quite a cool one. This green car here is amazing. And then we've got Porsches, Land Rovers. There's queues just coming out all the way around here. And then look at this side, we've also got the buses. And we've got the MG Club over here. Shout out the MG Club. It's one of the biggest clubs here at the show and it's quite a good stand. It's always well presented, well laid out. And then look up here, all the ice cream stalls and stuff's been super popular today because of the heat. It's been such an amazing day. Look at this, folks. The queue starts way back in the field over there and it literally is queued right to the main road. And it's mad to see that rush. Over here we've got the Alvis Owners Club packing up. It's been an amazing show this year, folks, and I do enjoy Glamis Extravaganza. Once again, we've been blessed with this amazing weather and I do plan to come back next year. And yeah, it's always one of my favourite shows of the year. It's a real laid back vibe, cool atmosphere, and everybody's so friendly and helpful. Shout out all the team that gets the show ready and prepares everything and keeps all the little cogs turning behind the scenes. Makes this possible for folk like me to come and show here, but also for the members of public that come here. It's just a perfect show with a great variation of items. So this is the stand with the old county that I've recorded on day one, but a cool detail, they've actually got a county seat over there with a picture of this very tractor on it, and that's cool to see. One of my favourite tractors at the show, 1124, and we're basically just walking diagonally back to where we're parked. I've went and bought a heap of tools and stuff here, so yeah, we're just basically making our way diagonally across the show field here, folks. Check this out, folks. We can see right over the show field here in the old ring, and yeah, I think there's still vehicles going around. It's now buses and trucks. Oh, the prize winner, AKR's informing us here, folks. It's the prize winners that's going around the ring at this moment.
All the first prize winners.
Shout out if you've won a prize at the show today. Well done. That's what makes a show like this. It's the people entering the vehicles and bringing the items for everybody to see. Kubota there, folks. That's the tractor. I always wanted one of them when I was young. When I was little, it was like my dream tractor. Check out this, folks. The tank's on the move right here. Let's see if we can get a decent shot of them coming out in the field here. One of my favourite vehicles at the show, folks, that tank. Shout out the gentleman on that President tractor too. You didn't see a lot of them at the shows. Tower Garage, Lanskirk. Amazing lineup of vehicles, folks. But like I say, with these Glamis videos, I've literally just been recording things as I'm walking around. I'm not going in any particular order, and I'm not recording every single vehicle either. It's just little nuggets of the history as I walk around. And I've just realised I've not been over to see this massive Lister Blackstone engine, folks, so let's head on over here. So this is cool, folks. This is the Lister Blackstone engine, and this was actually a bit of British Cold War history. This used to power a massive listening station at Montrimon Woods, and this was actually taken out of the building. This used to be fitted within a building. I was going to come when they were starting it up at 12, but I was super busy at the other side of the show field and I totally missed it. But it's amazing to see it. And then I believe this little generator here is similar to the one they used to use that on the ROC bunkers for charging the batteries. So this is some super cool Cold War history right here. It says next startup 3:45 PM. So we've missed it, folks. Next year we'll come and see it fire up once again. Look at this, folks. We've got the stationary engine section here, but also look at these little tractors here. These are actually called Turner diesels, and the unique thing about the Turner engine is it's in a V configuration. This one's a V4, and they had a different engine note because of the way they ran with the V formation of the cylinders. Check it out, folks. A Petter A1 Series 2, and then the little water pump, which was commonly used for like farms and maybe houses and stuff that was in the countryside. And then look at this, a Gardner diesel engine, 6-cylinder diesel engine with a generator. Check it out, folks, the wee tractor there going for a huddle. That was how me and AKR started our showing of vintage vehicles. We used to have some wee engines and little horticultural mowers and stuff like that. And look at this, there's more generators here. Folks, we've got a Lister diesel twin here with a welder on it, and it looks like the boy's been doing a bit of arc welding. There's a bit of a demonstration. And then we've got two other Listers here. I think they're Lister Ds. When I was on an adventure, I actually found one of these engines still in position near an old farm, and it had been used for pumping the water. But it's amazing to see the Lister Ds at the show here. They were water cooled, and you had to regularly keep pouring the water in the top because it used to evaporate as the day went on. So they did require more maintenance than like a modern engine. Look at this, folks, we've got some tractors over at this side that I've not seen yet. The grills on this Fordson here is actually the wrong colour though. They should be blue on a tractor that age. And then look at this, we've got Alice Chalmers, International. It's good how there's a mixture. They're kind of laid out in the age they were made rather than the make, so it's quite a good mixture as you walk around. It's not all just one type of tractor side by side, and that's cool to see. I do love the way Glamis is laid out. It's good fun to walk around. Look at this Lister D here, it's in fantastic order. 1929 that was manufactured. Look at this here, folks, this is a cool old Fergie. I believe these were painted this colour for a special edition. What was the reason for them being painted gold again, Andy? Was it Golden Jubilee or something like that?
I don't ken, to be honest.
We're not actually that clued up on Fergies, folks. If it was blue, we would have more of a clue. Look at this little Fordson Dexter here, folks. This is super cool. Perkins P3 engines fitted to those, I believe. And look at this, the wee Ferguson 35. Some of these folks was actually packing up because I was pretty much just having a quiet day. After being on my feet all day yesterday, it was great just to relax beside the Land Rover today and just catch up with people as they pass by. It was cool to see the channel botanists, David and Damien and stuff like that today as well. Shout out if you're watching this video. And look at this thing here, look how well restored this has been. It's an Aberdale charging set used by the RAF for charging aircraft batteries. Look at this, folks, this is a savage old saw bench. Back then, health and safety was hardly heard of. You basically lay the stick on the saw bench and then push it in towards the blade. And obviously a big open crank engine. Look at this thing, folks. It's actually an IHC hopper cooled engine. Horizontal hopper cooled portable engines. So that shows you that seat and the steering was actually original. And that's a proper original frame. And look, International Harvester. So that just shows you, folks, that's the sort of thing they were building like way before the days of tractors and stuff. They were always sorting out the agricultural scene. Look at this, folks, it's a Ruston Hornsby and it's in immaculate condition. 3 horsepower. And I do like that, the colour with the brass and then the green. And then look at this unit here. Tidy. And then this Wolseley here with the air compressor on it as well. Check out this, folks, it's a wee open crank engine with the air compressor on it. Or is that an air compressor? What is that, the fuel tank?
Is that the coolant water?
Oh, it maybe is the coolant, because that's the fuel tank on the top.
Yeah, I think that'll be water for cooling it down.
Yeah, often with these engines, folks, we're just looking at them and deciphering what we're seeing as we look. Oh, look, the steam is still billowing out of these steam engines as well. Well, the smoke is coming out of the steam engines, I should say. So on the day one Glamis video, I actually got it wrong when I said about the colour of the Fordson end. They actually started off yellow, harvest, sorry, AKR's keeping me right here. They actually started off blue when they were first made, and then they went to the yellow colour, which was harvest gold. And then during World War II, they actually went to being green, so if the Germans or whoever was flying over, they'd be less likely to spot them in the field. Whereas I got the colours in the wrong order yesterday when I was looking around, folks. And that's what we're all about on this channel. If we get something wrong, we correct ourselves and we'll update the history as we go. Because we're all about accurate historical details with these vintage things. And I did look at this on episode 1 at Glamis. It's quite an unusual looking tractor, that. An Oliver Standard 70. And we saw this earlier, literally one of my favourite tractors at the show. Because I explore so many RAF airfields and stuff like that, I can just imagine this was the sort of tractor that was hurling about, pulling the planes, maybe the Lancaster bombers or the Spitfires, maybe the Hurricanes. Just think about the wartime history that may have been involved with a tractor like that. And then look at this one, almost original condition. Looks like the boy's gotten a couple of new bits for it over the years. The right hand wing is almost completely gone with rust, but that's the kind of condition that is so good to see. It's got so much character compared to some of the tractors that are painted better than they were when they were new. And then look at this thing here, this is a tidy Massey Harris. We do like a Massey Harris on the channel as well, folks. Yeah, amazing scenes. There we are, folks. US Army White Thunder. Shout out all my American viewers. Look at this, folks. This wee Alice Chalmers is on show here, but you can actually win one of these from the Scone Farming yesteryear. Is it the Scone Vintage Vehicle Club? They've always the Scottish Vintage Tractor and Engine Club. They've got a giveaway, and that's one of the tractors. One of those. It's not that tractor, but one the same as that. They're giving away this year. You can actually win it if you buy the raffle tickets at Scone. It's good fun loading a crawler, folks. They're very lively and very slippery. I have actually loaded a couple of Fordson Major crawlers in my time, and I can't like. It's no so bad with the wooden trailer floor, it'll get good grip, but if the tracks is on metal. Look at this, folks, Angus Chainsaws van. Shout out Angus Chainsaws. They're a top Angus company around here, and they've got some good equipment. They're still agents, but also Avant. But it's so cool to see an old vintage Angus Chainsaws van here at the show. Second in its class, it's got the prize there. And that's quite a cool rosette they've got there on the front. Check out this, folks, this wartime, looks like a fire engine. It just got that super cool look from the war, and look, it's got the headlight covers, and that was so the minimal amount of light would be projected up into the sky, obviously, so if there was planes going over, they wouldn't be able to pinpoint where the towns and cities were. There was just a dim light used to come off those headlights. And look at this, it's an ERF with a Gardner 120 diesel engine. And like a lot of those diesel engines, you get a wee bit of reclat when they first fire up. Check it out, folks, the steamer's getting loaded up onto the truck. Shout out all the Fred Dibnah fans that watch the videos. This is obviously right up the Fred Dibnah streets, folks. The biggest legend in the game of steam in the UK back in the day. And it is cool to see there's still enthusiasts and stuff keeping the steam heritage alive. Early 1900s, things like this were all over Britain. Here we are, folks, this is the ultimate moment. The thing is, with a vehicle that heavy, if it starts to slip sideways or whatever, it just goes. That's how he's put these boards of wood, to keep it level, but also to get the friction of the timber. He's just getting it lined up with the boards to make sure it's absolutely perfect, because you didn't get a second chance with large machinery. Here we go, folks. Look at how heavy that is. It's absolutely flying up those ramps. Here, he's actually a wee bit close to that side. He's actually needing to come over a little bit. It's cool just to see this, folks. There's a lot goes on behind the scene at these shows. Transporting these massive vehicles into the show is probably one of the most difficult things. Look at this, folks, the old Harry Lawson lorry here. Up and down the roads of Britain these things were going, and I think nowadays you still get the modern Harry Lawson tankers. I can't even speak now, folks. And look at this old Bedford van, Blair Gowrie Building Company, and it's actually got a tipping back on it by the looks of things. at this folks, the classic wartime fire engine, the auxiliary fire service. Painted green because of the World War II conditions as to where it operated. Obviously to be low key, you wouldn't want a big red fire engine with fluorescent stripes all over it. And it's cool to see it, it's in great condition. So check this out folks, we're back up at the Morris Leslie car auction stall because I came to look at this Davy Brown. Look at it here folks. I believe my old man actually used to have one of these back in the day in the Weds. And this was the only model of Davy Brown that had the blue wheels standard. This is the standard colour of this Davy Brown right here. A Davy Brown 900. And they're quite rare nowadays, this model. But I do like a Davy Brown folks, that's how I made a point of coming up to record this. And then look at this here folks, look at the old phone number, Errol574. And this is actually an old Austin van. It's painted up with a Morris Leslie livery on the side. Look at this folks, this Davy Brown 850 has actually got the mower on the side of it. And then it's got the twin wheel weights at this side. But I was just thinking, oh it does have the wheel weights at this side as well. It's cool to see that with the wheel weights. Yeah, and then obviously the hydraulic arm that lifts up and down with the mower. But this is another type of Davy Brown that I really like. In day one at the show we did look at this Whitlock digger, but I wanted to make a point of coming up here and looking at the Davy Browns. And another interesting thing, there's this crop master here, but this was specially developed for an airfield. In the wartime Britain, these Davy Browns were used at the airfields for towing around the planes, similar to the old Fordson that we saw further down the show field. And that's how it's got all this different systems built onto it. Check this out folks, the Rolls Royce here. More of a modern classic. Or it's like a fancy modern car basically. And then look at this Bentley at this side. Obviously Rolls Royce and Bentley, the same car, slightly different finish. But both high quality vehicles. And then I'm hoping to head over this way to see the old Earl of Strathmore's vehicles are here. So I'm wanting to go and have a look. And look at this, I've actually seen a cool Starlet Glanza sitting over here folks. There is a Mark II Golf GTI right there. But that's maybe a slightly earlier one. I used to have one like that, but it had the twin headlights. Look at this folks, Toyota Starlet Glanza. I used to think about one of these. It's been modified to have front mounted intercooler and such like items. I used to actually want the older Starlet than that. You get a Starlet GT with the little round headlights and stuff on it. Super cool. The Glanza was a little bit more modern. So shout out everybody at Strathmore Estate, from the workers to the Earl himself. It's been a super great show today, and this is all the vehicles of Strathmore Estate right here. So let's just take a walk down them before we finish our walk around these cars. Quite a lot of folk are heading home at this point, but it's a great chance for us to come around and record things without being in the middle of crowds. Look at this, it's a 1955 Ford Popular. And then look at these Land Rover 101s. This is another one of my favourite vehicles folks. I do enjoy a Land Rover 101. Obviously it looks like a military vehicle. It was produced by Land Rover for the British Army. It was never made available to the public. The vehicle was primarily produced to meet the Army's requirement for a gun tractor, and was designed to tow a field gun with a ton of ammunition and other equipment in the rear load space, giving it to the alternative name of the Land Rover 1 Ton. Check out the old Bedford van there folks. And then look at this, Strathmore Estate's very own fire engine. Often these estates have got their own fire engines and stuff back in the day because it took so long for the local fire service to get to these locations. That's often how a lot of the big houses and stuff used to burn down back in the day. And look, I can see there's a massive swarm of midges kicking about around here. Look at this folks, this is another one of these big military trucks. It's a GMC and it's a 3-axle army lorry with a petrol engine. And then this other massive truck here. But first, in today's video, we actually already looked at this massive Volvo BM front loader. That's how I thought it's cool to come back and record the vehicles that we missed. And look at this, a 1964 Fordson Dexter. And it was purchased by Lord Strathmore in 2006. This is amazing, folks. Because I missed a lot of the stuff earlier in the show, I'm just making my way around. Before we leave, we're having another cuppa here, and we're just basically walking around looking at these few cars that's been left. And there's a lot of folk coming out of the show field now, like these gentlemen here on the motorbikes. And look, there's one of the steam engines going away on the back of the lorry. There we go, folks. Classic motorbikes right there. Yamaha's 1929 Triumph way past. And yeah, it's been an incredible show. Look at this, folks. Glamis Castle in the background. If you want to see a more in-depth look at this, you can go back to episode 1 of Glamis Extravaganza this year. And I was actually over there with the channel botanist looking at the steam engines yesterday. Look at this one, folks. It's got loads of sponsors or stickers on the side, and it says, look, 2018 Monte Carlo Classic Rally. So this car, it's an old vintage Rover 100. It must have been in the old rally. And we're just basically heading up these vintage cars right now. There's just cars all ages, all different shapes and sizes, folks. And to go around to every single vehicle and record it, it would be impossible at a show like this. I would literally have like a 4-hour video, because there was 1,900 odd vehicles here in total. Look at this old BM here, quite cool. And then check this out, an Austin, what's that, an Allegro? Or,
I'm not so sure. I look at the back.
Let's look at the back, folks.
Is that a Montego?
Oh, a Montego. It's an Austin Montego, folks. British built, one of the last British built cars right here. Yeah, it's a Van den Plough, which was like top of the range. Electronic fuel injection. That would have been a high spec motor in its day. Check it out, folks, a wee Citroen. There's no many of them on the go either nowadays. Is that a 2CV or a Diana?
I think it's
one of those.
Same thing, different ages.
Yeah. Turquoise Volvo right there, folks. Shout out GKR, recently sold as Volvo. This is a 144. What was GKR's? A 164?
Yeah.
And then look at this, here's another Rover at this side. Similar to the one we saw up there with the stickers on it. And then look at this, a Triumph TR6. The Triumphs are getting super collectible as well nowadays, and I love the style of the TR6. It's got some good shapes. Look at that, folks, proper gangster Mercedes there. I love the style of those older Mercedes. That's what you see the Mafia fleeing about in, and like on the films and stuff like that. And then up here we've got a Morris, and I think that's a Cortina GT with the green stripe on the side. And the old Volkswagen. It looks like that orange colour attracts the flies by the amount that's sitting on it. Yeah, I think these have got a Lotus engine in them, twin cam, and it's the Ford Cortina GT. And there is a few examples of these that go around the shows, but they're always quite cool to see. And then look at this E-Type Jag here, folks. The length of the bonnet on these, classic British sports car right here. And they were proper sought after back in the day. For sale, folks, you can actually buy it. It's a Series 1 E-Type 1966. Check out the old Triumph, folks. The mad thing with these Triumphs, when you open the bonnet, all the wings and stuff lifts up as well, so if you're trying to access the engine, you can get right in about it. Plenty of access for a mechanic if they're ever doing repairs. And look at this Jag. What's that, a V12?
Like it.
Wow, look at that, folks. V12 with a triple carb. Or is it, wait a minute.
No, I think it's just a straight.
It's a straight six,
it's a straight
is it?
6, I think. With two.
Oh, twin cam.
Yeah, I think that's
It's a twin cam straight 6, folks, with 1 carb per 2 cylinders, so it's triple carb, 6 cylinder. See that, we're just teaching ourselves as we look, we're just learning. And look at this old MG here, that's unusual. cool colour when they used to have the two different shades. Look at this, folks. If anybody's seen the film Herbie, this is a replica of the Herbie car, and it's so well done. It's quite accurate and it's in excellent condition, as most of the cars here are. They're in top notch, well restored. Right, folks, I've now got the P6 fired up and we're just about to head out of the show field. It's been a phenomenal day here at Glamis Extravaganza, and I'm going to risk driving home just in the t-shirt because I think it's such a nice summer's day. That's me heading out of the show, so I'm going to end this video here. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll be back soon with the next video, wherever I end up going. Tune in again soon, folks.